Hello, Mr. Belfort. What is our first course of action?
Well, today you guys will be making a lab, and but you guys can start. But first, I want you guys to describe to me what you guys are wearing, the lab equipment you'll be using, and any precautions you guys shall take before you actually start the lab. So, begin. Oh, I forgot one thing. You also have to formulate your hypothesis.
Okay. So these are safety gloves, and they're meant to prevent chemicals from getting onto your skin. Another safety precaution is to wear longer clothes. Like this, I should not be wearing my t-shirts because it would be hard to prevent chemicals from getting onto my skin.
Alright, these are safety goggles. They're to prevent the chemical from splashing and making contact with your eye or anywhere around the eye. And this is a safety apron. This is to protect your clothes and skin from coming in contact with the chemical. If your chemical was to come into contact with your skin, you would immediately go into the safety shower. If it was to come into contact with your eyes, you go through the eye wash.
And these are clamps, like Futurama. And these clamps hold test tubes. You are to hold them with test tubes, or else there would be danger of this falling onto your hands. And this is a test tube rack that holds test tubes. And this is a beaker. You should always pour your chemicals into a beaker, and from the beaker to another thing, like a graduated cylinder. And as you can see here, measures in milliliters up to 1,000, and it goes by, and the interval is our hundreds. And when you are finished with the test tubes, you would like to use these scrubbers and soap and water to wash them.
Alright, now this is the fire blanket. If there was a fire, we would unfold this and we'd throw it over the fire, so it wouldn't be able to spread.
Now, have you guys developed your hypothesis yet, or are you
Yes, we have developed a hypothesis.
What is it?
It's if we pour the methylamine into a test tube, it'll take the shape of the test tube because it's a liquid.
Okay. Anything else you guys want to tell me before you actually start the experiment? Like, where would you dispose of the chemicals?
We would dispose of the chemicals in the sink.
If there's an accident, who do you tell?
The teacher.
Well, what kind of accident?
Any form of accident.
Oh, yes, you need to tell the teacher at all times.
If you were to break a beaker, what would you do?
Tell the teacher. Never take actions in your own hands and during a lab.
You guys may begin.
Okay, so I'm going to hand the test tube using the clamps. The clamps from Futurama. Here. Oh, yeah, whatever. Here you go. Okay, that's good. Perfect.
So Eric, describe to me what chemical you're using.
Methylamine.
Is it very toxic or?
Extremely toxic.
Yes, you do not want to get onto your skin or eyes.
Okay. If someone offered you food, what would you say?
Where?
Someone allowed
Where are we getting allowed food? Cafeteria?
No, Eric.
In the lab?
In the lab. If
Oh.
someone offered you food in the lab, what would you say?
No. You
Why?
do not want to get yourself contaminated or the food contaminated. And also it's just plain disrespectful, irresponsible.
Now, what would, how are you, if you were to smell this, or
You wanna waft it.
You
It's
would-
like-
would you put it right in your nose and sniff it, or would you just do that?
No, Eric, would you say our hypothesis was proven correct?
Correct. It happened, 5 out of 5 times.
Okay. No, we're going to dispose of the
Our
chemicals.
conclusion is yes, it does work. Okay. Here, wait, what are you doing? You want to use the clamps, bro?
No, I'm sorry. Never do that. Never do that.
Oh wait, don't you want to?
Now, if you were to heat this, methylamine, how would you put a cork on top of it, or would you leave it and leave it just?
It depends on what you want. Do you want the pressure to keep inside or no pressure? Most of the time, your teacher will ask you,
You know Miss Elizondo? You know she has like a paper cutter?
I don't think so. I think she's outside.
Okay.
Really? 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 Yeah, just keep going. I'm feeling
Let's
positive.
keep going. That was one of the other teachers.
That is something you should never do during a lab. Never interrupt the students that may make a mistake.
Yes. So, how would you just, where exactly, are you gonna dispose of these materials?
you want to get rid of the chemicals the way that your teacher tells you to. Sometimes he or she will tell you to put it inside like a certain container.
And things like that.
Same thing for other objects like needles and other things like that.
So,
But today we're going to dispose of it into the sink. So, pour it slowly, slowly, slowly. Okay, and put it right here, dry.
you guys are gonna wash the test tubes and everything afterwards, right?
Yes,
Okay.
yes, remember when you're washing your test tubes, you want to use water, wet this a little bit, and you also want to use soap. But for the
For this lab, you will not be doing so.
there's a little phrase that you use for that. For the concern of time, something like that. Yeah. For the concern of time today, we will not be filming that part.
Okay. So, good job, guys. You did a great job on your lab, and you followed the proper lab protocols. And
Thank you.
Thank you, Mr. Belford.
no problem.